Hey guys, Natural Progressive. I'm here with Val to discuss all kinds of things. Probably going to get started with a recent story that
I'm here with
I see.
Val.
As soon as Val gets his sound straightened out, it's Monday. It's madness. So, anyway, so there was this crazy story um, that happened this week. There was a train derailment. I don't know, maybe it was last week. But anyway, there's a train derailment near the border of Utah, I think New Mexico, where the train derailed because of fluctuations in temperatures. Like there was a 50-degree swing in temperatures, and it warped the train tracks and caused them to derail. So my question to y'all is, how many other things are going to come up because of this crazy weather that we're experiencing, and will it just drive things mad and crazy and get worse and worse? um I don't know. Val, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that's going to happen more and more with
Well,
what's
right now, the levees in New Orleans are a mess. I lived in New Orleans for a short time, and the place is just crossed with levees. Hey there, hey, you young mofo. Oh, fart. Anyway, you got the New Orleans is like in a bowl. And
mm-hmm.
they got the levees everywhere. They got the pumping stations, huge pumping stations to pump out water. Um, the Army Corps of Engineers has spent billions for that area, building these different levees and moving the Mississippi River around like it was just cable, you know,
Mm-hmm.
rerouting it, doing this, doing that, messing around with Lake Pontchartrain, which is a huge lake between New Orleans and Slidell, Louisiana. And there's a huge there's billions of dollars of infrastructure, and apparently they kind of missed the bullet in New Orleans, right? Is that what it wasn't a total disaster? The
And
recent hurricane.
I don't think it hit them as bad as they thought it was going to, but it
It,
definitely was. I
it,
mean, it's not over yet. I mean, they still have some water that's going to be pouring down on them. So, but yeah, Shiva, the corn and soy is so late in being planted, and that's being totally neglected by the mainstream media. How far behind they are, it's insane. So, food shortages, grow your own food, people. I'm telling you, smart people need to survive as long as possible. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I
yeah,
got
you know, time to give it go into all the restaurants. You know, what's that? The Cheesecake Factory.
hmm
Give that up.
I've given up that a long time ago. Like,
Applebee's,
mm,
and like I said about Cracker Barrel before, I continue to go to Cracker Barrel because I want to, see what they have there for supplies. So I continue to go to Cracker Barrel.
we have almost everything they have.
I noticed that.
You've seen a tour of my backyard at night, but I do tours, and we have lots of stuff. We have plows. We have everything. It's I don't know. We have a lot of stuff that's good for trading.
Do all
Um,
those run?
do what?
Do all those vehicles run?
hmm
They do.
Yep, all of them run. We have. You didn't see the ones that are really cool. There's two in the garage that are. There's 1949 and 1939, I believe, that can run off of
Wood,
alcohol.
turn the wood into alcohol. Yeah. Okay. They can run off alcohol.
Yeah, they could, definitely, because that type of engine, and they wouldn't go out in the case of an EMP. Actually, we also have two big. We have I think they're 2-ton trucks. We have two 2-ton trucks that are in the same scenario. I mean, we don't drive them all. They're antiques, and mostly they stay in the back. We do use one for hay, but it's like a block away where we get our hay, and then it comes back. It's um yeah, it's really used locally. It's I don't know.
The
Hey Basil, hi Mark. Shiva, I don't know if I said hi to you. I did on the thing, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, so we're kind of prepared that way. I mean, there's a lot of people that would be interested in, having some kind of transportation, I guess. Other than that, we have our horses, and I don't know. I mean, what do you do? But you were talking about those pumps they have in New Orleans to pump the water out.
Yeah.
Years ago, they did that on the Great Salt Lake. It was when Governor Norm Banger was in office, and we were getting an extreme amount of water, and the Great Salt Lake was really close to flooding. So he put all these big pumps in, spent a fortune on it, and never had to use them because the Great Salt Lake is very low right now, even after all the water we've had. It's really weird, but
Isn't the Salt Lake about a foot deep?
is it what?
Isn't it the Salt Lake about a foot deep?
Oh no, it's way deeper than that. In the middle, it's
In the
it's
middle? But
not as deep as the ocean or anything, but it's a good sized lake.
I've
It's
I've seen it once.
really
Yeah.
go down I-80 and drive past it.
Right. Right. I was on my way to Reno.
Yeah, then you drove right by where I live.
Right.
I'm right off of I-80. Um,
Yeah.
I'm on the west side of the Great Salt Lake.
This was before you were born. This was like 1979,
That's not before I was born.
around that time. Way back.
I was born in 71, so not quite. Oh my God, I'm just realizing how bad my hair looks. I didn't curl it or anything today. Screw it. Screw it. Who cares what I look like? I'm tired. Hey, Torsten.
The natural hairdo.
Yeah, the natural hairdo for the natural progressive.
Yes.
If I just wake up, this is what it looks like. No, it really, really looks better usually,
You
but
know, what would scare me?
mm,
That would be waking up looking at Hillary Clinton. I mean,
mm,
it'd be a heart attack.
don't make me ill. Oh God. Imagine what she looks like without makeup on.
Right. Be like,
Oh my
I
God.
turn around and reach for the gun and end it right there.
No shit.
Oh my God.
No shit. Okay, so there's some stuff you wanted to talk about.
Well, okay. Um, I I get terribly annoyed by flat earthers. That's not nowhere near worrying about flat earthers is nowhere near climate change problems. People get annoyed with flat earthers because basically they they take out their peckers and pee on 2,000 years of science.
Hmm.
They just piss on it. Okay. Um, Climate change deniers um, can be like flat earthers.
Hmm.
In fact, I was the last video that Sandy did with Nick and Jennifer. There was a couple climate change deniers on there, and one of them said, "Well, um, the in the PTM um, period, the planet had much higher carbon, much higher, and the planet heated up much more. There was no SUVs, So how did that happen? Well, what they don't take account of is that this occurred over thousands of years.
Right. Thousands of years. But humans have not ever been in existence with the level of CO2 we have right now.
Right. So they don't take account of the fact that in less than 150 years, we're getting to PTM levels of carbon dioxide in a factor of 1,000 times faster. But
Mhm.
they conveniently ignore that fact.
Right.
And then this other guy, he was name dropping 4 or 5 scientists that I never heard of. These are apparently were climate change denying scientists, and name dropping them and saying, well, this one was worked for the Australian government, and he said it's a bunch of hooey, and this one said it's a scam, and all this. And so he kind of tweaked me off, and I don't have a problem saying this, but some people do. I said, well, you're a terrible person, and in my humble opinion, he is, because he's
Yeah. Well,
deliberately trying to confuse people and just bringing it. He's so even if he was true and these 4 or 5 scientists, said this, they may not have even been climate scientists. That's versus 25,000 climate scientists who are saying the opposite.
right. And a lot of them that are getting paid by grants and whatever are being really, um, what do you call it? Careful about what they say because they're afraid of causing panic.
Right.
So, but they understand what's going on. By the way, hi Kent Dale and hi Don Hilligan. Um, yeah,
Well, this
that's
for
the thing I don't understand. But the people that are climate,
Chris. I think Chris froze there. Anyway,
am I frozen?
well, you did for a second on my end.
Oh, weird. Okay,
It was
sorry.
just, maybe it's just me, but
Oh, Warlord Pliskin, hello. Um, yeah. Anyway, the people that understand that climate change is an issue, but don't care to look at all the facts drive me nuts. Like, look at the Green New Deal and understand that's a political thing, just like everything else. And there there's some lobbyists that are pushing for it that probably don't have your best interest at heart. So you have to kind of use your own logic and think your way through it. What does it take to rebuild an entire infrastructure, green new infrastructure? What's it going to take to build the economy on a green new deal? I mean, you can't. I mean, it's a finite planet. You can't grow on a finite planet. And the ones that don't understand that population is an issue also kind of drive me crazy. It's like it's just math. 250,000 people added to the planet every day, while 250 species are going extinct every day. Do the math. Where does that lead you?
it leads you to a burning up planet,
Yeah,
planet on fire. It leads you. It doesn't go to a good place.
no, it doesn't. So until you talk about population reduction, um, you really aren't going to handle this situation, the climate situation. You really aren't. And I don't care what you talk about. There's my dad argued that yeah, they have all these technologies to grow enough food for people, but that does not account for the housing that takes from nature, all the trees that are going to be cut down. It's not going to account for the waste that each person produces. It's not going to account for any of that. So, and we can't live without the biosphere. We just can't. We're part of the biosphere, whether people want to believe it or not. We're absolutely a part of the biosphere.
I want to ask the people in the chat room: do
Sure.
do they um, hate climate change deniers as much as me? Do you guys hate climate change deniers?
Everyone who hates climate change deniers say aye.
Yeah.
Bowling with reeling class skills. Uh, Stupid, crazy people. Community gardens should be first domestic action. I like that. Yeah. I mean, we really should. Yeah, and you know what? This is probably going to be a little controversial, but you know all those immigrants they have housed in on the border.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very great gardeners, farmers that know how to do small farming, but their land has been destroyed and they've been pushed out because of climate change or wars or what have you. They could be put to work putting gardens in everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, why not utilize that? That's what we need more than we need accountants and lawyers and investment brokers and all that crap.
Oh my
Hi,
God.
Kelly.
Oh
Kelly's here. Hey,
my God.
Kelly.
You were so right. The last thing we need is more brokers, more trust for hedge funds. Guys,
Mhm,
so right. We need more farmers.
mhm. We absolutely need more farmers, and most of those people they're locking up are farmers. We need them. We need them badly. So why not go there? Yes, gardens, Kelly. Yes, yes, yes. Gardens. I'm sorry I missed you, Kelly, with that. Oh man. Zoom link. I took a break from the internet over the weekend. I just uploaded a video and didn't look at my computer again. So,
We
yeah.
need less Jeffrey Epstein's and more Mexican Jesuses.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly, do you want to jump on? If you want to, you can. We always like women on here. I'm going to paste the link in case you want to jump on. I don't know. It's kind of hard for women to jump on once in a while because, you know, they don't have their hair done or whatever.
Dude, Mark Adams, biochar permaculture work camps.
What's that? Biochar permaculture work camps. Wait.
Using biochar, which
Oh,
is
I don't want work camps. I mean,
that's what he said, not me. I would,
okay, Kelly, we'll do it again soon.
I would call them botanical gardens. I wouldn't call them work camps.
Okay, Basil says he doesn't hate them, but he thinks they're dangerous. I'm assuming he's talking about climate change
Yeah,
deniers.
he is, but I do hate him. I don't.
My hair is not done. Ha, I knew it. I knew it. My hair's not done either, Kelly. Damn it.
I'd kick him in the nuts if I could.
Oh man. Okay, just before I forget, Women's Wednesday is going to be canceled as much as I hate to because my daughter is moving to New Zealand and we are going camping Wednesday night right after work. And
Awesome.
also next Monday will be canceled because we will well I'm having a party here, a going away party for my daughter on Monday. So I'm sorry guys, I'll make it up to you eventually. But yeah, so this is our last chance. Hurrah for a little while. My daughter's moving to New Zealand. New Zealand, clear across the freaking planet. Ah,
That's good and bad. Both good and bad.
yeah. I mean, I'm happy for her because you know she'll be in one of the better climates.
Right.
Oh, but
But,
still,
but then it's going to be talking to her like this.
yeah. And I'll probably talk to her more though. I'm thinking
Really?
when she went to Italy, we talked all the time this way more than we talked in person.
Wow.
So my daughter's a world traveler. I've never been out of the country. Uh,
Yeah, I've only been to Cuba.
Oh, well, you're lucky if you've been to Cuba. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I would love that. Oh no.
Well, I was two.
You were two?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that doesn't count. I went to California when I was like 1.5. I kind of remember the airplane ride, and that's it.
Well, I got there before the beer took over.
Oh
He
my
did.
gosh, Kelly Lane's daughter's in Scotland. Oh my gosh, lots of FaceTime. Yeah, you gotta have that. Sorry. We gotta talk, Kelly. Oh,
Uh,
Kelly, somebody.
I think I'm probably a little bit too reality for most people. I don't think people are at the level of Don Hooligan. You're in Indiana. Where at?
Oh, you have neighbors.
Yeah.
I don't have any Utah people on here. Unless Daniel Greery shows up sometime. He watches usually the after the recordings, but and emails me. But Daniel Gurry from, Collapse Chronicles and Humpty Dumpty Tribe. He's always giving
For
Sam stuff. That guy, he's in Utah. So, but there's very few people in Utah that are decent. Hi, Oz. Oz is here. Hello, Oz.
I got another question for the chat room here.
Mhm.
Would you people be down for doing whatever it takes to stop the planet from collapsing? Would you be willing to do whatever it takes? Yes or no? Guys, he goes to Colorado.
Colorado for weed. I'm growing mine here.
Are you?
I'll probably get in trouble for that one day. Who knows?
Can't be. Yes, there's one.
Yes, I mean, I would if I could sacrifice my life and save the planet, I would. I absolutely would if I thought that would help at all.
Yeah, I do have a plan. I do have a plan.
Mhm.
Does he want to know what it is?
But I want to know what it is. What's your plan, Val? And no question. That's cool. Good for you. I've already given my life to the Biosphere in advance, so yes. Good, Shiva. I've never been to Sweden. Once I was there twice. Okay.
People will let you down. Okay, people will fail you. This is one of those situations where no matter what you say, if you say, we got 10 years, people will still get in their trucks and go driving around and go to Walmart. And this is Amazon Prime day. They're going to go on Amazon Prime. The only thing that I can see myself that will turn this thing around is either eco dictatorship by either humans or machines. That to force people to do things that they do not want to do.
But that's never going to happen.
I don't think it'll happen with people, but it could happen with artificial intelligence.
How are they going to override the governments, do you think? Who's the guest? This is Val Muscal. Valhalla 56. He's on here all the time. He's practically my co-host. So Monday Madness.
I'm her sidekick.
Yeah. Monday Madness.
I'm her depressing sidekick.
Hey, I'm pretty depressing too. I can depress them with the best of them.
That reminds me of something else. I was somebody mentioned Bio mentioned the aerosol masking effect.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the something on the Apollo landings, and they used lithium hydroxide absorbs carbon dioxide. Okay, and I'm like, I never heard that before. They used lithium hydroxide to absorb the CO2 in the Apollo spacecraft.
Oh, really?
The astronauts breathe out CO2 like you do in a closed room. They have to get rid of it. So they use this high Muscal. They have to use lithium hydroxide. So how come nobody's ever mentioned that?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not feasible on large scale, but I've never even heard it before, except for something that had nothing to do with climate change, had to do with the Apollo landings.
Huh. Well,
so maybe there are chemicals. In fact, they showed a picture of the box that the lithium hydroxide scrubber was in. So why aren't these scientists talking about this? But anyway, Bio mentioned the aerosol masking effect. Well, I'm not a physicist. Okay, graphene supercapacitors or some kind of nanochemicals. But maybe it's possible.
Scott Murto just said that graphene supercapacitors. I wonder if Scott wants to jump on again.
Okay, it's possible to get the two opposing effects to work against each other. Maybe they can find a way what the aerosol masking effect, global dimming, blocks sunlight. The greenhouse gases holds thermal energy in the atmosphere. So you have two opposite things going on at once. But the only point I'm getting to with this is that there could be possible ways to mitigate these things, like the lithium hydroxide. I mean, I don't know if it'll work or not. I'm just saying that I never heard it. Why aren't they talking about it? Why aren't they talking about it on NPR?
Hey, Kelly's here. I don't know why they're not talking about it.
Why aren't they talking about it on NPR?
Oh, you look beautiful, Kelly. You couldn't have got yourself that beautiful that quickly. You already had.
Hang on, sorry. There we go.
Monday Madness. That always happens. Someone's got to have a feedback going on.
Yeah, I should know better. Anyway, hi. I've been packing, and so yes, I'm kind of a mess. But
So you don't have your own show or anything. So.
Yeah. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is Val Kelly. You know Kelly probably.
I think I've seen you. Nice to meet you too.
Hi. I don't want to interrupt what you were talking about. I just thought I'd join for a minute.
Well, I was just throwing out that some things that I saw, that why aren't the media or scientists talking about doing, like the lithium hydroxide? And this other person mentioned graphene supercapacitors, just different things like that. You know, if sometimes we've dug ourselves a hole in the situation, a big hole, and we're trying to find a way to get out of this hole. I don't know why they're not talking about other possibilities to get out of this hole. Otherwise, we're toast.
Well, we definitely have to reduce energy. That's like not. There's no other option.
To die.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Kelly?
Well, what I'm going to say doesn't go over too well with Green Party people, and I have to preface it with this. It's not that I think this way. I just sometimes I feel like I need to be like a translator between independent, maybe kind of sort of right leaning. I come from, Republicans on one side of my family. I have like in-laws that are Republican. I just feel very strongly that when you talk about environmental issues in a way that, like you had Jordan on the other night talking about Flint, I think for so many people, and I realize it's not accurate, but they feel like it's a luxury to worry about environmental issues.
I agree. I see that a lot. Yeah.
For a lot of people that are just paycheck to paycheck, and they see, I'm passing on the message here. So
I know you know what we're going to say after this, but finish your message.
Yeah. But they see this liberal elite, college student is marching to save the melting ice caps, and they're like, I can't fix my transmission so I can get in my job. I mean, this is what we're dealing with, and even though it's out of touch, it's reality. And I think that when you've got environmental issues that are right in people's backyards, like the couple of candidates we had. I work with CFAR and CWAC, it's candidate contracts. A couple of candidates we had in Louisiana, they were along some place that's called Cancer Alley. And, because there was so much pollution in the rivers there. And so I think you might be able to reach some people that might be traditionally, red voters, and don't care, don't pay attention. They think it's tree hugging. Again, I'm just relaying the message, but the view of people like us that are environmentally conscious is that we're just tree hugging, tofu eating, Prius driving, and so it becomes a very negative, divisive issue when it shouldn't be, because it affects all of us. But I think also gardening and gardens in the schools, like when you reach kids at a young age and you get people involved, like hands on, I think that could change things.
That's a great idea. Why don't they have a garden I mean, they have all this lawn at elementary schools and high schools. Why don't they just
with Roundup, probably sprayed with ChemLawn every day, right?
probably, yeah. Don't even talk to me about Roundup.
I know. Well, one of the ideas that we've been kind of kicking around, but it's going to be a little bit before we get it going, is if we are able to start fundraising a bit for the CFAR CWAC candidates, is putting that money directly back into like projects for their community. And it's a big idea that's just kind of getting started. But one of the examples I always use is if you had, like, there was a candidate in, inner city Detroit. And if you had, think of CNN Heroes. This is what I tell people all the time. Anybody ever watch that? I mean, I've since cut cable, but they used to have where people were doing good things in their community, and then they would nominate people, and then they would award a certain one with X amount of money, and it would go to their cause. That was kind of my idea with the candidates. And like, if you just had a garden in inner city Detroit, and it's brought to you by this candidate and funding from our organization, where we don't take corporate money and it's just going right straight back into the community. I thought a garden is something that is a doable, thing to start with. But we're just kicking around ideas right now.
And so important. We need gardens everywhere. If our transportation system shuts down, before you came on, I was talking about the railroad tracks that were worked by the large swing in temperatures, and it derailed a train. So say that happens everywhere because of the major temperature swings. What happens to our food supply? On top of the other natural disasters. So keeping a garden and keeping food grown locally will go a long ways to help people. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The problem is that, I mean, we're dealing with culturally, we're dealing with people. Anybody remember when this whole thing about, didn't Trump buy McDonald's for everybody that was visiting the White House or something?
Yes. Oh, it was a winning team, some kind of sports team.
Oh, okay. Well,
right? It wasn't a winning basketball team or something?
It was a sports team.
Yeah.
Well, okay, years ago, I went through the checkout line when I don't do enough cooking from scratch anymore, but I used to. And I go through this checkout line, and I've got, tons of veggies and stuff. And this kid that was checking out, working the register, he didn't know what a radish was. I mean, I had to explain to him what at least 3 items that were not really that unusual.
Sure.
No, and I think that so many Americans, it's because of convenience, and also, we hear about these food deserts, where all people, a Twinkie is what you're eating, and there's just this disconnect that the food I eat grows out of the ground, even though some of the stuff in that packaged food, wheat or whatever it was grown somewhere. There's this total disconnect that's even food. And then so many kids don't know how wonderful stuff tastes right out of the garden.
No,
Get it?
I'm lucky.
And so there's that. I think if we reached kids early, it would change things, but we have a long way to go, and I think we have to do it in a way that the certain parts of our society will see the results immediately, because when we're talking about it and it's not part of their everyday life, it's this big disconnect. And then there's all this misinformation about climate change, and it's politicized, and they ignore it, I think, largely. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
No, I love that. I mean, I've been pushing for gardens for quite a while, and I think that would be a better education than teaching your kids algebra at this point. And really, there is such a disconnect, and people need to learn how to grow their own food. We don't know how long we have. We don't know what's going to happen. Climate change is getting worse and worse and worse. the Arctic is melting faster and faster and faster. We're at record lows of sea ice extent. And we don't know what's going to happen. We honestly don't. But we got to prepare and be ready. And I think people are better off knowing how to grow a garden than they are learning how to do math at this point.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I respond to some people in the chat room?
sure, go ahead, Val. Go ahead.
Yeah, in the movie with Mel Gibson, where he was going to Tahiti, the Mutiny on the Bounty, in that movie. I don't know if you guys seen that. You guys seen that? Yeah.
What was it called?
Mutiny on the Bounty with Mel Gibson.
Oh my God, I rarely miss a Mel Gibson movie.
Well, this is a famous mutiny where in the 1700s they went to Tahiti, and some of the crew under Fletcher Christian mutinied against their captain, Captain Bligh, and some of the crew stayed loyal to Bligh, and so they were put on a longboat. Okay, and the mutineers took the big boat. Okay, and so Captain Bligh, he told his crew, he said, the only thing I can promise you is suffering, pain, and more suffering. But I will get you home. Okay, so in an open boat in the 1700s, he traveled 4,000 miles, and I don't think they lost any of the crew. Okay, so basically he was being honest with his crew, telling them he wasn't feeding them oh yeah, we're going to get picked up in a week or so. He told them it's going to be horrible. I'm going to be now. Politicians can't do that. Politicians cannot tell free civilians the truth. Okay, the truth is that the things that you do is killing the planet. So, so what we were discussing in the chat room is more of the hard way to go. Tough love. Okay, if you want to call it tough love. Tough love. You know, that cajoling people to do things, it's just not working.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's just, if you want to say, if you don't want this planet to burn, okay, if you want to save your children, we're going to have to do some really hard things, unpleasant things. And people,
I don't think Kelly's prepared to hear our doomer
yeah, I don't
talk.
think he is either.
No, I just think that politicians aren't going to do it because they're funded by big oil, and I mean, you know,
that's where the doomer comes in, because you know they're not going to do anything, and they have all the power. I mean, we can have the power if we take it, but no one is stepping up to take the power. We need to take the power.
And I think you could reach, you know, well, I'm sorry, I'm kind of a broken record about independent candidates, and because that's what I do. But I think you could reach.
Oh, well, you know how I feel about that, yes.
Yeah, and I think you could reach the independent voters or the non-voters. You know, the biggest group now is non-voter. If you teach people, even some of these people that lean right, like, hey, you don't need to. This is self-reliance. This is about, you know, you grow your own food. You're not going to, you know, you have that autonomy. That's, I mean, giving power back to the people. I think that message can resonate across all, you know, all groups.
Yeah. But it's just that we don't have the time, though, to wait for all these system changes, cultural changes to happen. And so it's really devastating. Like when Paul Beckwith just did a video saying that 2030 is the new 2100, because all the climate people, all the news stories say 2100 is the year that everything's going to go to hell. And then it was 2050, and now it's 2030. So it's creeping up on us fast, and nobody is doing anything.
Well, the younger people,
there's something that you can do, but people will not like it, you know, and that is, you know, put some sterilizing chemicals and chemtrail the world.
Yeah, well,
people aren't going to like that too much.
People need to voluntarily do it, but you can't do that if you have the Republicans pushing, you know, anti-abortion laws when we're trying to reduce the population and making birth control hard to get. I mean, they think it's a woman's job to have babies, and they think just God's going to save everybody. That's our thing. God will save everybody. No, those kids that you're having now are going to suffer tomorrow.
Dream
You know,
on, dream on.
no. It's so hard for me to take because I have kids. I have.
Everybody wants to dream.
But well, at least a lot of the younger people, though, they do. I mean, teenagers. My 14-year-old, she knows more about some. She probably knows stuff that you do, all the dates and how long we have. And I mean, it's not an issue that I'm really well versed on. I definitely care about it, but I mean, she tells me stuff all the time, and her friends, you know, the kids her age, they know because it's on them. It's going to affect them the most.
Oh, absolutely it is. They're going to suffer absolutely the most. I mean, at least we have lived, you know, a pretty full life. If we were to go today, we still have that lifetime that we lived, but they're probably not going to live to our age. And that's what makes me sad. It's like my kids don't get that chance. They don't get that opportunity. So, I mean, that's what it's looking like now. I mean, no one knows for sure, but it's looking like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's devastating to me. That's why like my total channel just changed direction once I dove into it enough. I'm like, oh my God, why isn't the media talking about this?
What's
Why?
the best? You guys tell me because I'm not up to date on all this. What's the best case scenario if we really make if everyone were to get on board and we make changes now? What is the best case scenario?
It's already baked in. It's done. All you can do is slow it down.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay,
I mean, what would you say, Val? I mean,
okay, there's several possibilities here. One possibility is a black swan. That's the unknown or unexpected event. Say getting hit by an asteroid that creates a nuclear winter or a global winter that stops something unknown that happens, unexpected. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that you convince 7 billion people that you need to live a simple life like a hunter gatherer. Well, is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't think so.
yeah, from people I've talked to, no one wants to live that lifestyle.
A third possibility, and this is the one I hang the most hope on. In fact, I just seen this on some other thing where China is putting everything towards artificial intelligence. They're throwing everything with the kitchen sink at it. That's my big hope is artificial intelligence that can not only come up with a way to suck the carbon out of the atmosphere at scale very fastly. The only thing that can do that is an entity that is almost godlike. Okay, we have carbon scrubbers, but you know they're not at scale. And how do they go up 30,000 feet? We don't have.
And also what it would take to build them, as far as the mining, the transportation, the manufacturing would take so many fossil fuels and so much from the planet that's already being destroyed. See, that's the other thing. Are you aware of the destruction of the biosphere, Kelly? Like the
Yeah, I mean, basic stuff. This is just
You
not.
know, we've all seen pictures of these giant open pit mines. It's unbelievable. You know,
So our options are a meteor or going back, getting everyone to go back to hunter-gatherer.
or artificial intelligence,
or reducing the population like ridiculously.
Yeah,
down to 500 million for the planet, which we're at almost 8 billion now. So
global pandemic that wipes out, say 75% of the population, maybe 50% maximum. The fifth possibility is kindly space aliens come here and they feel sorry for us and they decide to help us. Well, that's very unlikely. So I'm putting my money on artificial intelligence. That's where my money's going.
Yeah, that sounds like the most likely.
And the reason I think the problem is so big. In fact, to really put a number on it, of all of humans' existence, this is the biggest problem that humans have ever had. Is right now.
Bram's here. You brought Bram with you, Kelly.
So there is World War II. It was a big problem, but it's nothing compared to this. And the unbelievable thing is that most people, they rarely think about these issues. Okay, but this is an existential threat, a threat to
It is.
humanity continuing. Okay,
Right.
and we're not talking about 1,000 years from now. We're talking 10 years or less in our lifetimes.
It's
So,
not a pretty thing, and it's
no.
so disturbing, and it sounds so unrealistic. I know it sounds like we're freaking crazy, and most people think we're crazy, but when you spend so much time looking at the actual facts, the science of it, you see that it's there. I mean, just look up
Right.
everything. Like there's a
They're crazy. You got all these cities and governments in London, and you
they're
got
not doing anything.
climate emergencies. We have a climate emergency, so it's out of it's mainstream as far as
But they're not doing anything. They're like, okay, we declared a climate emergency. Are you happy? And then they approve a tar sands expansion mine, tar sands mine expansion up in Canada after they did that. It's like it means nothing. It's doing nothing. And
So I've decided, thinking about this, I've decided that since people are not going to put everything that they have into it and dedicate their lives and give up everything and go into, I don't like poverty. Nobody likes poverty. Okay. I don't like poverty.
no, no one likes poverty.
Personally, me, I'm willing to go into poverty if it solved the problem. But is most people willing to go into poverty, have no electricity, be eating like, rats, squirrels?
Most people would be dead anyway. That's the problem. Is like they're not equipped to, for one, grow their own garden, grow their own food, and survive without electricity. They're too attached to their video games. They don't even know how to cook dinner. A lot of them, So how would they survive?
Today's
radishes.
Today's Amazon Prime Day.
I know, right? They don't even know what a radish is.
Everybody's buying shit on Amazon today.
Yeah. I mean, they just punch a button and things get delivered to their door. What if they had to go out and get those things by themselves?
Mm-hmm.
They do not understand that concept at all. I mean, I was raised a little different. I was raised on a mountain, so I kind of understand a little bit more of, how things work, and I'm okay with no power. In fact, I was talking to Val before the show started. It's like, am I weird for getting excited when the power goes out? It's like, is it time? That people will finally wake up because the power is going to be out. The grid went down, and we're going to have to figure shit out.
Yeah,
but the nuclear plants will explode, and then we'll all be toast anyway. So that's a horrible thing to want.
Yeah, you and I were talking about how when power outages, they have, we go, is this it? But something else I wanted to mention. Of course, I'm a little older than you guys, but in World War II, there was Face to the Enemy. Okay,
you were not in World War II.
Hitler.
You were in World War II. Come on.
Hitler, well, so people could direct their hatred, or, for lack of a better term, at Hitler or Tojo, Mussolini. Also, there was a lot of TV stars, they didn't have TV, movie stars who were raising war bonds, and they were making all these movies. They had these famous actors, Mickey Rooney, and everybody was on the team, and everybody was on board, and everybody was growing victory gardens. And there were no World War II deniers saying, "Well, I'm for Hitler. He's not such a bad guy." Everybody was on the same team, but those kind of different circumstances. So it's really, for lack of a better term, I wish it was World War II, but it's not. It's much worse. World War II had a total of 55 million people died. World we're looking at like everybody, which is a lot more than 55 million.
So what's the answer like politically? Do you feel like there's a way to?
I think, I know you're doing this independent candidates and stuff, and I really appreciate that. And everybody's doing the best you can. But as far as I'm concerned, national politics is a total fail.
It is a fail and will be a failure. There's nothing we
Yeah.
can do.
A total fail. You had Obama. What did he change?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we can start something with independent, if every single one of our candidates just started one community garden, in their community, I mean, it's something. It's a start.
Yeah, well, yeah, and lawns should be illegal. I've said that before here. Lawns should now be illegal. They're obsolete. We don't need lawns anymore. What we need to do is grow trees, flowers for butterflies and pollinators, and food. That's what we need to be growing instead of lawns. I mean, I'm doing. I know that it's not much. It's just going to maybe delay the inevitable, but we got to try for the next generation. I have kids. I've got to try something and push for something and fight for something, or I could never forgive myself. And so that's what my fight is for, is that, and people need to be out in the streets, like pushing for that kind of thing. No more big, no more fucking mansions, no more than one home to live in. Okay, put people in the houses that already exist. Quit destroying nature to build more houses.
That's right. Stop cutting a tree. I want to mention something else to Kelly. There is another possibility, and I don't know for sure, but it's speculation that the government has a Manhattan level project, a secret project that we're not aware of, to fix the climate, so to speak. Something similar to the atomic bomb or Apollo program, and that's a possibility. I'm
gonna guess an underground gated community for all the Congress people, so they're all protected.
They got that. That is known.
They'll have all the water, and they'll have something.
Yeah, now especially since they found that underground or under the ocean aquifer fresh water, a big corporation is going to take over that and maybe sell some for a while, make some big profits, and continue to build their bunker. But that's not going to save them. They're not going to survive in a bunker.
It was very telling. Has anybody seen the movie The Big Short? About the housing crisis. It's very telling. The guy at the end, they talk about how he has invested in water. Now.
Yep, water. Water is the new gold.
Gold.
It's absolutely the new gold.
So, ladies, yeah. What do they say that diamonds are a girl's best friend? Well, maybe water.
Water is my best friend, and water is life. So,
well, it's a small thing, but it's something I want to start, and I'm hoping we can this fall just get some of our candidates involved in this, and just one garden per community where they're running. I think
we have a community garden out here. It's amazing. I mean, I can grow my own, not in my yard, but there's. And it's really kind of a rural area, so it's really weird that there's a community garden here in this area, but there is one.
I think
not everybody knows how to grow, so that's good.
Yeah, but so many people are so disconnected from nature, and I'm guilty of that myself sometimes. I was fortunate enough. My the other side of my family was Canadian, and they lived way out in the middle of nowhere, north of Toronto, and my grandparents tapped the trees for maple syrup and had a garden, and I remember that being out in nature, as a kid and through my early 20s. But when you that feeling when you get out, even pulling weeds out in my yard here, just being out in the fresh air and the dirt and all that, I think, and kids especially respond to that. So I think if you were able to get kids involved, and whether it's a school garden through that, this is old, but it was what's her name? Alice, somebody that had that edible schoolyard program. Does that sound familiar? But whether you start the gardens at the schools or just in the community, I mean, I think if kids get outside and
why not do it at the school? And they could have instead of having one of their periods a day, they could be outside gardening, at least, you
Yeah,
know.
instead of sitting at a desk staring at a piece of paper, like, you could actually learn the science, like, hands-on. I think it would
Mhm.
be really make a difference, but
I think
anyway.
so too. That's a fabulous idea. I wish they would have done that when my kids were little. I mean, they did grow one little plant. All my kids did that at one point in their
Mhm.
school. But
That was the one thing I hope it's still going that we left behind. My older daughter went to a charter school. I know, charter schools. It
I,
used to be it was something different when we joined it, but anyway, she went there from 5th through 12th grade, and so Zoe and I, my younger daughter, and I were in charge of the garden there, and we did all of it. We had one other parent show up to a meeting. That's when I knew the whole like flavor of the school had changed and all the money was going to the sports stuff and it was like
oh,
it was just us. So we did the garden and then we left. I hope it's still going, but I don't know.
God, I hope so.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
sports are so important. I mean, no, I mean, I do appreciate some sport activities. My kids were all in um, horse events. You know, they
Yeah,
did.
but balance. I mean, come on, people.
I know, but no, we didn't get money like pushed into that. We had to spend our own money to get put them in those events. It wasn't like, you know, the school events they have now where there's tons of corporate sponsorships and all that for basketball, football, you know, whatever. It wasn't like that with and they had to take care of an animal and become a partner with an animal and become a teammate with the other people on their team. So they had all of that, but it wasn't just throwing money at. I mean, I don't think any sport should get public money. I just don't. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just,
It also what that would do for kids, I think, being outside, I mean, probably, for anxiety and just
it's,
everything. And it would be amazing. But
it's
that
absolutely the best for anxiety. I suffer from anxiety like big time, and that's what calms me is just being outside, being with the horses, even being with my bunnies. I spend a lot of time with my bunnies are getting old, so I spend a lot of time with my bunnies lately. They're so cute, but they're at the end of their life. So I just lost two dogs. Anyway,
aw.
outside, being with the animals, it's like heaven. It really grounds you. And the garden. And the garden. Ah, and I have radishes in my garden.
Well, I currently only have mint, which I use for my Moscow Mule. But
Oh,
it's all overgrown and I keep weeding it. But we had some tomatoes and it's been so hot and I'm busy. So unfortunately, they didn't come back. But yeah, I
oh,
have mint. Mint is easy to grow though.
yeah, mint
You
grows
could just
like
start with
crazy.
an herb garden or something really small like that.
And YouTube's a great resource. For YouTube right
Mhm.
now, while we have that resource, people should be looking up how to do these things. Like maybe set up a drip system if you're too busy to come home and water it. A drip system on a timer is really great for that. And just, you know, until we get out of this corporate control where we have to leave all the time and we
Yeah.
can't be home tending to a garden like we should be. Um, yeah, drip
Well,
system is the next best option, I guess.
anybody read the Gion Journal? Teddy Fikra started Ghion. I haven't looked at it recently, but I know that they had one of their writers. All of her stuff is dedicated to gardening.
Oh, really?
It had a lot of really good information on there. I mean, I know there are lots of places you can get it, but I remember that from the Gion Journal.
Hmm.
So I can't remember her name right now, but I follow her on Twitter. Just lots of good information. So
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're kind of a novice, if you feel like, you know,
But YouTube is great. I learned how to grow potatoes in 5-gallon buckets. Like,
oh,
and it's amazingly easy. They don't take a lot of water. They don't take much attention at all. I mean, you can neglect them for 2 weeks and then have you ever seen potatoes start to sprout in the bag they're in? They don't
hmm
take hardly anything to grow. It's amazing. So we're going on our second batch of potatoes. We just planted another batch. We already harvested the first one, and it's so easy, so easy. It's incredible. So yeah, look at all the container gardening you can do, even if you don't live
hmm
in in a place where you have a big backyard, you can do container gardening. Super easy. It's amazing what you can grow in containers. Most of my garden is containers. My husband has bigger garden beds. We separated. It's like, this is mine, this is yours. Let's see whose grows better. We make a competition out of
Well,
it.
you have, how many acres are you on there?
Only 2 acres.
Two.
We don't have a big place. I'm looking for. I really want to move to this place. It's like 360 acres. Um,
Wow.
if I can get my husband to leave his job and yeah, go for broke, but we'll see. If we sold this place, we could buy the 360 acres and have it completely paid for.
Is it
It,
in Nevada where you are now?
it's in. I'm in Utah. It's in Nevada. The place I'm looking.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I want to move to Nevada so bad. I love Nevada. I love Nevada. It's it is the number one driest state, but up north it's not as dry as down south, like Las Vegas, and it's like northern Nevada, northeast Nevada, and there's actually quite a bit of water in that area. So
Okay.
it's
That's the first time I rode a horse was in Nevada.
really.
Yeah, and it was like, man, this hurts, because
It always hurts the first time. It even hurts if you haven't done it for a while.
right.
That's the way it is. The
Okay.
horses are working.
I had to look this up because her name is Kim Butler on the Guion Journal. I love this. I love this, the Guion Journal anyway, but I just thought of it, so I wanted to share. It's Kim, let's see, what is her last name? Kim Butler. But anyway, just if anybody's interested, I wanted to share that.
Will you share it with me on Facebook or on message or something? I don't know.
I can put it in the chat because there's.
I will have to make you. Okay, you're gonna have to comment real quick so I can make you a admin in order for you to be able to share a link.
Oh, okay.
Because people share crazy links, and so I block that unless you're a wrench. So just put a mark or something, and I'll make you so I can see you there. And okay, there you go. I'll make you admin really quick.
Okay, and yeah, it's
Okay, now you should be good.
It's Kim Butler and Guion Journal Community Gardens, and she tweets a lot of good stuff.
I was just telling Warlord Pliskin, I was kind of joking, but definitely population reduction. Just saying it to him, he's kind of misinterpreted what I wrote.
What?
Regarding artificial intelligence, though, that you said could be a solution, can you go into that a little bit more about what?
Okay, I just seen something a couple days ago. The Chinese government, which basically is in control of everything, is putting a total effort with research and money, their money's yuan, to progress artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, whoever gets there first will have the edge over everybody else. So right now, the program trading in Wall Street is done by artificial intelligence. Okay, they spend all kinds of money, getting that slight edge over everybody else. Okay, so there is a race among the top Western governments for artificial intelligence. Right now, the artificial intelligence is in what they call narrow artificial intelligence, where it's like highly specialized, like self-driving vehicles, self-driving cars and trucks and stuff like that. That's narrow. Or let's say you have a artificial intelligence that's a surgeon that's programmed to do surgery. That's a narrow artificial intelligence. What they're looking for is a general artificial intelligence. Okay. So, and they're also in a bigger sense, people like Ray Kurzweil, who's a top exec at Google. He's looking to create what they call the singularity, which is when artificial intelligence, two things. When artificial intelligence becomes conscious of itself, like a human, and the second thing is that artificial intelligence that self-improves itself. Okay, that doesn't need programmers to improve it, but it builds an improved copy of itself, and this can go exponential very fast. Okay, so imagine if you could make copies of yourself and and they're doing that now with DNA and gene splicing and trying to give people more capabilities, make them stronger, more intelligent, more muscles, but of course you would go that direction. Okay, you would want to put in, be more disease free, all kinds of stuff. Well, in second or third generation artificial intelligence, it would go exponential from there, and it soon would have godlike power. It would be like a god to us, and it could solve the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere.
Okay. So yeah, what specifically? I mean, how can we use that to help the environment? What I was just wondering, like specific.
Well, if there was a god, then a god could do anything it wanted. Okay, so I mean, think about it like this.
It might destroy the whole entire human race in order to save the planet.
But think about this. Think about you right now with you're talking on YouTube, on the internet. You got a car. You travel on an airplane. You compared to a hunter-gatherer 300,000 years ago. That's almost godlike what you can do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They would look at you and look at you and say, "How can you do that?" But you do. Okay. So, but with artificial intelligence, machine intelligence, it would be so incredibly smart, so 1,000 times smarter than us. So it could solve the problem very quickly.
Okay, so it is grim. In other words, yeah.
It's. I mean, look, I hate to be Debbie Downer. I don't even talk about this with my family.
You love being Debbie Downer.
Hey, I have to do that about the elections and the fact that we don't have free and fair elections. Reality is reality.
We haven't had them forever, so that's what.
We don't have free press. We don't have free We don't. I mean, it is what it is. So we have to be real about all this, so that anything we try to do is at least maybe has a chance to.
Kelly, I'm not really, believe it or not, I'm not really out to bum people out, and
just want to light a fire, right?
Yes, that's what we're trying to do, I think.
I want a lot of fire. So I appreciate Chris's dedication and her passion for what she's doing, and she's throwing everything because she doesn't want to see this planet burn, which this planet is heading towards Venus. Okay, Venus.
That's true. Thank you.
And she's trying to save the prairies and the jungles and the environment. She's even admitted that she likes animals more than people. I shouldn't have said that, right? Okay. Well, I shouldn't have said that. Okay.
Most people. I like animals more than most people. I need to clarify
that. Most people. There's certain people that just aren't even up to the animal level.
But people are animals, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I just prefer some animals more than others.
Yeah. So this is, besides surviving every day, doing what we got to do to survive, this is what I'm dedicating my life to. Mm-hmm. You're doing the election thing and the politics. Chris is spreading the word. This is what I'm trying to do as much as I can, and thinking about this and what all the people on the chat room who are regulars, are there could, I hate to use the word consumed as consumed is probably not a good word. I guess if you're going to be obsessed, this is something good to be obsessed about.
Well, we're all networking. I mean,
I could be a Jeffrey
Yes.
Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was obsessed with young girls. Well, I'm not obsessed with young girls. Okay, this is what I'm obsessed with. So to me, I consider it a better obsession.
right.
Yes.
And you can only deep dive in one subject for. I mean, you know, you can't, or maybe one or two, but to really be informed. I mean, I got involved with the election integrity stuff last May, a year ago, May, and you know, it's you kind of.
Consuming.
Yeah,
It's very
exactly.
consuming.
So I think it's important that we all kind of network because I do care about environmental issues. It's just not the thing I'm most informed on. So, you know, other than
That
lead in the water and gardens, that's about the extent of where I, you know, but
okay?
That's a good start. That's a very good start.
That shows the scale of the problem. You're a person who's trying to do this. The average person really doesn't care.
No.
But we got a huge problem here. That's why I'm kind of, and I'm not going to go into it now, but why I have a much more pragmatic, less of a voluntary thing, more of forcing people to do things, because I think people have to be forced. I think we're beyond cajoling people into joining the team, so to speak. Okay, join and by the way, I want to mention something real quick. If anybody knows what this stuff about AOC's chief of staff, supposedly he said the Green New Deal was not about climate change. Is that a bunch of BS or what? So whoever knows anything about that, throw me a smoke signal or something. No. Did you hear that, Kelly?
I did not. No.
Okay, sorry.
No.
Anyway,
It's okay.
my bad.
Like I said, we get down in one.
Me and Christine will get to screaming here, because we're so obsessed and,
That's okay. I think we all just need to make sure that we've been talking recently. I went to Left Forum, and just about how we've really got to get everybody kind of at least connected. Everyone's got maybe their subject that they're more into,
Their
but
specialty. Everyone has their specialty, but this is the most important topic on the planet
it is.
in human history right now because our lives literally depend on it.
Mhm.
Like literally, our lives depend on it.
Kelly, have you seen
So
the movie The Road?
Do what?
Have you seen the movie The Road?
The road. No, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Well, that's what the future's going to look like.
Wow.
That.
Okay. Is that a good movie?
No.
No.
It's about as you can get.
it's probably really depressing and horrible.
Do you know who Viggo Mortensen is?
Yes, absolutely. I love Vigo.
Well, he's the star of The Road, but believe me, it's a depressing movie. Also, the actress, I can't think, she's a famous. Anyway, Viggo Mortensen is the star of that.
Yeah, he narrated that what was it? The revolution will not be televised or something. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
It started, I don't know what happened to it. It was Right Brain Media, I believe. WRITE, and they just like disappeared. I don't know where they went.
They banned it.
Hey Kelly, have you met Richard Wolff at the Left Forum?
I saw him. I did not actually meet and talk to him.
Okay, that was from Oswald Spengler. Wanted to know.
Oh, okay. No, I did. You know what? I was torn between two panels at that point, and because my other focus is really journalism, I ended up getting in a rather heated debate with Michael Isikoff one-on-one.
Oh wow.
From the audience, but I was so torn because I really wanted to go to see Richard Wolff's talk on capitalism, and then it was Randy Credico and Michael Isikoff, and so anyway, that was a tough one, but I ended up in the other room. So
wow, that's cool. I mean, you are so politically active. I'm jealous, kind of. I don't have that kind of time. I wish I did. And not that it would do any good here. I mean, they just arrested all the freaking protesters that were protesting. I talked about it several times before, the inland port that they want to put here on wetlands, which would cause so much more traffic, so much more pollution. It's just a ridiculous idea. And they just arrested all the protesters. It was insane. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't get over what happened with Standing Rock and that girl that had half her arm blown off. I mean,
I know.
what country are we living in? That was
Yeah,
just
we're so free. Yay. USA. USA.
right, right. Yeah,
What's wrong with this country?
Shailene
Oh,
Woodley was there. Has anyone heard? I haven't heard much of her being in the spotlight since that. Is she still active with environmental stuff? Shailene Woodley, the actress?
I think so. I haven't seen anything for a while though, but I'm
Yeah.
sure she would be.
Just
By the
thought-
way, next Moscow Mule Day.
Okay, we'll do it.
Sorry, I was so excited to get this from a bar in Nevada. I'm like, did you sell these? Because I need one, and they're like, I didn't see anything.
And we'll share the recipe. And we're all about moderation, and we're all about real ingredients, good, fresh, real ingredients.
Awesome. Yeah, I've since been I had to try the Moscow Mule since that one show, and I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing. The warming ginger in your throat is so wow.
It's very good. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Well,
Very.
I'm actually going to sign out because I'm in the middle.
Yeah,
of
I think we're about done. I was only going to go till
and I
like
don't want to take
9:15.
away from you. I mean, but I wanted to say the little bit I said, and I think that it's just so important that we stay connected with people because we've all got our areas that we know a little bit more about than other people, but we need to have those all kind of come together, you know?
Yeah, open communication. That's why I try to interview all types of, people in the YouTube sphere. I've interviewed as many as I could get a hold of. And
Well, that's one thing, that I think the left has a problem with. And it's because we're all big thinkers and we get down on our own little thing we're doing, but we've got to come together to have a unified front,
and have a little bit of an open mind and consider other people's thoughts, because I have evolved so much just in the last 6 months. It's amazing. And you can, if you open your mind and you start taking in facts instead of just holding hard to your position. That's
Right.
what we all need to do, is open your mind to facts and do a little more research on your own. And that makes all the difference in the world. And
First, turn off the television.
yeah, turn off the
Kill your TV.
the corporate
Okay, well,
media.
thanks so much
All
for
right, thank you. Yeah, you guys, I'm gonna.
Actually, I don't know if I know how to get. Oh, there's the red hang up button. Okay.
I know. It takes me forever to find that damn thing. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. You're welcome any Monday and Women's Wednesday as well.
Okay. Okay.
But
Well,
not
maybe,
this week, but next week we'll have Women's Wednesday again.
maybe if we get the candidate garden thing going, we can have something, to give information about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Or if you just want to come on and chat. So.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
All right. Thanks for coming, Kelly. Have a good one. Val, thank you so much. I am going to get out of here because I am dead tired. Trent Black.
Work.
Warlord. Jeremy made it too. Thank you guys. I'm not, even if you think climate change is a hoax, which it is not, why are you okay with unnecessarily continuing to poison our air and water and food? I don't know who you're talking to, but I agree with you. Warlord clicks about civilization, the human lifespan goes down to 45 years. Say and meditate. Yeah. Okay, guys, really. Yeah, thanks, Torstein. We'll see you soon. Bram, thanks for coming. It was so cool you came to my show. Kent Deal. Scott, thanks, guys. I'm out of here. I will not have Women's Wednesday. I'm sorry. My daughter's moving to New Zealand, and I will be camping with her for my last chance camping trip. So I won't be on again until the next Women's Wednesday, because Monday I'll be gone too, because it will be my daughter's going away party on Monday. So I'll try to get something up. I'll maybe take pictures in the mountain or something. And I don't know. I feel bad. I feel bad for not being, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna be away for like a week. I'm sorry, guys.
Have a
Love
good
you all. Bye, Val. Bye, guys.